All right, welcome back. Promise the great Ruthie Polinsky would be joining us from NBC6. Good morning, Ruthie. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. I apologize. I am not. One of my favorite things about doing talk shows and radio shows is that I don't have to get all dressed up, but you made me go on camera today.
Well, we have changed the way we do things on this show now. So like I told you, we're like the Jeffersons. We're moving on up, so we do things a little different. And I like this now because obviously people get the audio part because 99% of our audience is all podcasted anyways. But when we do it live like this, and obviously the crowds are growing for this, people like the it's a little bit more personable when we get to see each other. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm a big fan. I'm just teasing you, but I didn't get full dress up today.
I need this because everybody that's opposite of me, it's a pleasure for them to watch because, having to watch my face for a couple of hours. I mean, that's just brutal, man. I just feel terrible. So I'm glad that, you improve, the frame here on everything. So everybody will be focused on one side. All right. So first of all, your thoughts. You were out at camp. What did you see? What did you like when you went out to camp?
Yeah, I, of course, was listening to you before I came on. Tua looks good. I mean, I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway so far is just the improvement that we've seen not only over the course of the last week and day or so from camp of Tua, but just really his demeanor, his mannerisms, his command of the team. It is very clearly his team. He is clearly the best quarterback on the field. And that's a really good thing. You're not hearing this really conversation of a quarterback competition, which I think made some people a little nervous maybe coming into camp if that was going to be a point of the conversation. But Tua's the quarterback. This is Tua's team. And we're seeing him play really comfortably, which I think should give Dolphins fans a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah. And, if you heard the time before you came on here, on the show, one of the things that I've talked about for over a year now is that he would be a different guy now because he was able to play football. He was able to work on his core. And that's what I think a lot of people didn't take into account last year. He was probably throwing all arm and the core of his body wasn't really 100%. Hell, even Flo said, now he's healthy, admitting that really, we all know he wasn't healthy last year. He wasn't 100%. And like anybody knows, whether you're playing baseball or you're going to throw a football or whatever, the core of your body has to be the center of everything. And I think that now he has that. And I think that's why we're watching a guy that physically is comfortable, which leads to mentally being able to do your job.
Yeah, I think the physical health is a huge part of it. And Tua has also admitted that the playbook was condensed for him because of what he was able and what he wasn't able to do. And he also said that he didn't really understand a lot of the playbook. And I know that was a soundbite that got blown up. But he's had a full offseason for the first time of his NFL career. So there are no excuses for Tua Tagovailoa anymore. And his health, his comfort with the playbook, his comfortability with his receivers and with the players around him, and also with the level of talent around him and the way that this team has put pieces in place for him to be successful. Again, no more excuses to make for Tua. So this is his year. He's got to make that second year jump, which is hopefully going to be more than, what a normal second year jump would be because he was so hindered last year. And I think, this is going to be a very telling preseason. I think we're going to get to see Tua play a lot in the preseason, and we'll hopefully have enough to get excited about the regular season.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking forward to it. Are you concerned about the offensive line because it's so young and they needed to come together? And it looks like they're still kind of experimenting too with a couple of positions.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that's probably the biggest question mark in terms of position group right now of the entire team is this offensive line. And, you expect Austin Jackson to take a big jump. But like you said, there's this shuffling going on in terms of who they're putting where and who's playing left guard, who's playing right. These are all moving pieces right now. So there's nothing really set in stone other than really Austin Jackson maybe. So I think that's going to be the biggest question mark, and you asked if I'm concerned, and I'm dancing around the question. I guess the short answer is sort of, but there's a lot of time to figure it out. And I think they're very excited about Liam Eichenberg, this kid from Notre Dame. So hopefully he is a big impact. But again, they're so young. And you have Jesse Davis, who is kind of the veteran of the group, and he's kind of getting shuffled around as well. So that's where the concern lies, I think, in this moment.
But I like what you said is there's still we're only a week in the camp. They haven't practiced against the two teams they're going to practice. They haven't played their preseason games. Those game-like situations, they haven't been in yet. They're practicing against themselves. It's not the same thing. Once you get into those practices that you're playing against a complete stranger, and then all of a sudden the competition picks up, the desperation picks up, it just kind of changes the tone of everything that you're doing. I think we'll start to get a better feel. And what's weird, Ruthie, I think, and you've been around sports long enough to experience this, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners, same way. It's funny because sometimes when the lights turn on, we start to see what a player does. And because of that desperation, sometimes we start to see them finally excel. And you kind of like it's like a nice surprise all of a sudden because desperation sets in. And I think we've got to give some time for these O-linemen to be put in these situations so we can actually really measure where they're at.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then, of course, you need this offensive line to be productive, to be able to run the ball. And that's something that, you want to see this team be better at as well. We talk so much about Tua, but we also really need to be able to do different things with this team, with this offensive line, with the running backs, because that's a good football team if you can do everything. So I think that when you think about the protection aspect of it and giving Tua time in the pocket, and then when you also think about creating holes for guys like Myles Gaskin, you got to figure out something that works, because it's going to be hard on Tua if you can't run the ball.
All right, Ruthie, are you looking forward to bringing maybe a bottle of Geritol to the AAAs when you watch? I'm sorry, FTX Arena now. When you watch the Miami Heat, because I'm wondering, should we change it from FTX to Geritol? Because this team got old and fast.
I'm going to be honest with you. What is Geritol?
Oh.
Did that just age you?
Yes, because it is for the aging. Yes, yes.
I understood the reference there.
It's an old man and an old woman vitamin pill, basically, is what it is. Okay, that's what it is, Ruthie. I get it. You're young. You're spry. You don't want to even think about things in your 50s and 60s when you're light years away from it. I understand that, but some of us, we're already there. You know what I'm saying? So
that's so funny.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess my take on the Heat, they got a bunch of champions on this team. They have a bunch of dogs on this team who I think are tough. They know how to win. They want to win, and they're putting pieces in place to give Jimmy Butler his championship. And I think with the moves that they've made so far, they can contend in the East. I think. Are they the best team in the East? Absolutely not. But, the way that this team has the potential to play defense is something that maybe can set them apart. And I think when you talk about these old veteran players, we know what they can do at this point. It's really going to be in the hands of the young players. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. Can those guys make another massive jump to be more pieces around Jimmy Butler and these guys who are trying to win a championship for Jimmy is really and that's how I view this. I think what Kyle Lowry can do, what PJ Tucker can do, what Markieff Morris can do. Can the young guys elevate themselves to win a championship? That's the big question mark in my mind.
Wow, you and I are on Tuesday. That's exactly what I said. I said, yeah, I did. I said, because these old guys, obviously, you're hoping that they can stay healthy all the way down the stretch.
Right.
But ultimately, if you're going to make that deep run and you're going to threaten the Nets and you're going to threaten the Bucks, it's up to Bam and Tyler. They have to. I think Bam has to take that step where he's at least close to superstar, and Tyler has to get to the point where he's at least an all-star, because it kind of reminds me of 06. the Heat had a bunch of older guys, but the one cog in that engine that was young and spry like you was Dwayne Wade. You know what I mean? And he was the guy that gave them the ultimate juice to finish it. The veterans filled in and did all the rest of the things that they have to do. And I agree with you. Bam and Tyler are the key to all of this. If those cats can take that next step, and that's the question I have for you. Can Bam, because he's such a nice guy, right? We got to get him, because I talked about this yesterday. I think Bam has to become a son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Because
it's got to be a little meaner.
Right. As nice as Russell Wilson is, as nice as Dwayne Wade is, and they've got the all-American face, they've got the magical smile, all of that. But when it gets down to crunch time, they're going to cut your throat out. And because there's a nasty streak in them once they step on the field or on the court. And as nice as they look, they're going to eat your heart out. You know what I mean? And I want Bam to become that kind of guy.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? And can he do it, Ruthie? Is it in him?
I think we've seen moments of it. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is the Jason Tatum block. Right. In the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Mm-hmm. That's a moment that comes to mind of where we've seen Bam a little angry and a little mad and making winning plays. Though that's what we want to see more of. And I think having a guy like Jimmy Butler around you, who is the king of closing time and getting a little mean when he needs to, hopefully that can bleed a little bit more into Bam. And, you know, this was such a weird...
Hey, PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry, those kind of guys.
Absolutely.
Maybe the tone in that locker room becomes a little nastier and dirtier because these guys are blue-collar defensive guys. Maybe that having more like Jimmy around Bam, maybe it starts to rub off.
Yeah, you know, I still want them to be nice guys off the court, but in the locker room, on the court, you know, you guys do what you need to do to win games. And if that means getting a little mean, I think that's what you got to do. But like you said, the pieces, the puzzle pieces around this team and now surrounding Bam are guys that fit that Heat culture, dog mentality, play defense first. That mentality is perfect for the people that they've brought in here. So I think you hope that, and I think Tyler Hero has that mentality. I think Tyler Hero can be that. We've seen streaks of him. His play just needs to be better than it was this year. And you know, I started to say this was such a weird year for this team. You know, there was kind of an early COVID, no excuses, but there was the early COVID outbreak. They never really felt like they got into a rhythm, and it seemed like there was a little bit of disconnect throughout the whole year. So maybe with the new makeup of this team and with the new guys and with Jimmy and Bam, and those are the guys, we've committed to the guys, and Tyler Hero, we're committed to you. We didn't trade you, even when we could have, and gotten good things around you. You know, Duncan Robinson, you're one of our guys too. We're not letting you go. This is the team we want to win a championship with. Maybe that will do something for this team to light a spark, light a fire under their you-know-whats, and we'll give Bam that little meanness he needs.
Well, how much are you buying the Oladipo move? Or is that just a bonus?
I think it's a bonus. I think he probably wants to stay here in rehab. So it's a low risk, high reward move for the Heat, I would say. If he can be healthy and play in the playoffs, the more the merrier. It can really just create some depth, even if he's coming off the bench and, you know, scoring 12 points. So I think I like it. I mean, I think that's a guy who we've known forever wants to be here. He wants to play for Eric Spoelstra. He wants to be in the Heat organization. So if you want to keep guys like that around to, you know, contribute to that mentality, that locker room mentality that they're trying to, you know, get going here, I think it's low risk. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't move the needle for me. If he would have gone, I would have said makes sense. But with him staying, I say, hey, that could be a big bonus down the stretch.
All right, so I'm going to ask you, we'll wrap it up with this. The great Ruthie Polinsky from NBC6 joining us. Remember to follow her on Twitter like I and many others do at Ruthie Polinsky. So
I just reached 10K followers, and I'm very excited about it. I've been waiting to see the little K.
All right, let's get her to 20. Let's go. Let's load it up.
That's my own little
20. All right, so I know you're well-rounded and you know your hockey too. So I'm going to ask you a trick question here. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Who got closer to knocking off the top dog in their respective leagues, the Heat or the Panthers? Be honest.
You know, that's a good question.
Remember they both played the champion, but only one won 2 games against the champion.
You took the words out of my mouth.
You know what I'm saying?
The way that the Heat played the Lightning,
You mean the Panthers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Panthers played the Lightning. That was the best series in a lot of ways. Maybe the Islander series was close, but the way that the Panthers played the Lightning was my favorite series, and maybe I'm biased, but I thought that they were the closest to turning something awry for the Lightning. And
they added a young star.
And correct. I think the commitment the Panthers have made so far in the offseason, they are saying we are going for it. We want this. We want this Stanley Cup. This is an organization that is going all in, and I love that. So I think I'm going to say the Panthers. Because
I agree again.
Still got to look at the West. I mean, we're talking about the East for the Heat. You know, I mean, you're looking at the Nets and the Celtics and the Bucks and the Sixers. Those are all going to be contenders always. Then you got to go look at what LA did and for both teams and see. I mean, can't even get there yet. You got to get to the finals first. With the Panthers, if you can knock off the Lightning,
that's it.
That's it.
And you beat them during the regular season. And strangely, I think the Panthers are the best team against their goalie. He shuts down everybody else, but the Panthers have a way of scoring against this guy all the time. And he's great. We all know he's all world. But it's amazing to me how the Panthers can get to him at times. And he knows it, okay? He knows it.
It's in his head.
Yeah. So I think the Panthers got closer to their championship than the Heat did this offseason. So
yeah, I had to think about that for a moment, but now I'm all in on that answer. I think it's the Panthers because there's one opponent that you got to knock off, and then you can see, and then you can do whatever. I think with the Heat, it's you got to get through the East, and then you can maybe think about beating one of the teams in the West.
By the way, you used to be in New England. You used to cover. Just going out on this. How much fun is it to watch this Brady compared to the stinking robot that we had to deal with in New England? And look, all the respect, the GOAT and the whole organization's phenomenal, and they've won 4 billion championships. But the dude in Tampa is fun to watch, bro. I mean, he's fun to watch now.
He's showing off now. And I think he was so humble and so locked in for so long and so serious. He has nothing to lose now, and he can have fun and relax. And I covered Tom for 3 years in New England, and he was stiff and nervous. And I mean, he went through a lot in New England and with the media and how they criticized him and Deflategate and all the things that happened. But he always had this underdog mentality of, no one believes in me. No one believes in me. I'm, pick 199, and then he gets to Tampa Bay. They're good. They win it, and now he's like, let's do it again. Why not? And it is fun. It is really fun. Yeah, I'm a big Tom Brady fan. What I know people down here probably don't like to hear that, but I do think there might be something. I don't know. You could maybe answer this better.
I think there's a little renaissance for him down here now because he's not with the Patriots anymore.
Exactly.
And now they're seeing like the human being. Actually, they're actually like, this guy's not really a machine. He's actually like real, and he jokes around. And it's hard not to laugh when he puts out a video with his kids and he's calling them, Welker and Edelman and all that, and where's Gronk? I mean, you know, when you start doing stuff like that, it's just, how do you not laugh at that? How do you not have some fun with it? And I'm glad that he's having fun with this, and he has a coach in Bruce Arians that likes to let it loose a little bit, right? No risk it, no biscuit, or something is what he says. So I guess he's doing no risk it, no biscuit off the field too at the same time. You know,
it's a perfect duo, the two of them, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to week 5. I think it is in Tampa for the Dolphins. Obviously, you want to see them win that game. Also, the Bucs are going to be coming off the New England game week 4. They play New England week 4, so maybe they'll be a little like, if they beat New England week 4, then they'll be like a little like laid back from Miami. Miami can just stick it to them. That's the goal.
That would be nice. Follow her on Twitter. Get her to 20K. She is Ruthie Polinsky. Catch her on NBC6. Thank you as always, Ruthie. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anytime.
You got it. There you go. The great Ruthie Polinsky.